Everyone wants to leave a legacy of positivity in the world around them. Whether you are a CEO of a Fortune 500 company, a nonprofit executive director, or even a soon-to-be entrepreneur, one fact is always true. The easiest and most effective way to catalyze change in the world around you is through commerce and through business. But how do you do it? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Changemakers Collective, a place where people can come and get educated and encouraged and empowered to be the impact agent in the world around them. Brought to you by Silverback Ventures, Steph Thomas and Scott Woods have over 50 years combined experience helping companies and owners amplify the voice and multiply the impact of purpose-driven businesses. Join us each week as we discuss what it means to live a life of purpose on purpose.
Welcome to Changemaker Collective's Silverback Ventures. I'm Stephanie.
I am Scott. Nice to see everybody. Hear everybody. You know, we can see you through this camera.
He's a liar. No, just kidding.
But we are excited to have you back on the Changemakers Collective to continue our series about financial literacy.
Yep. So we are on part 2, and we're going to probably touch base, but you know how Scott and I are. We may have a couple of rabbit trails, but really conversations around taxes,
savings,
around savings accounts, all the stuff.
And I think it's important to recognize that, and you say this all the time, Steph, the way you treat your personal finances will often be the same way you treat your business finances if you're a business owner.
Right. And there's integrity involved in some of your business practices when it comes around money.
Oh, of course. Yeah. We shouldn't have to have that conversation. But I think for the purposes of this episode, we spent the first episode really kind of talking about how to think about money as a tool, not a destination. And I think today we're going to spend some time talking about how to think about savings and some unusual places you can find savings. Prior to jumping online here, we were having a conversation around taxes. It's almost tax season here. We were talking about the fact that some people will go out of their way to pay as little taxes during the course of the year so that they get a big check at the end of the year.
Okay, but wait, before you move past that, that's okay as long as you are, when you pay your estimated taxes.
Most people do not pay estimated taxes. Let's start there.
Okay, let's define estimated taxes.
Yeah, most people,
okay.
If you're a W-2 employee, you don't have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay, fair enough.
Because
But what if you're a W-2 employee that have just launched a business? Estimated taxes are a thing.
And I think it's important to know why.
Okay.
Right? So if you are thinking about starting a business, or if you're in the middle of starting, you have your business already established. If you're having your business as a LLC, which we've talked about in previous podcasts, the best, easiest pathway forward to start a business, a single member LLC, what happens is that you no longer are getting a paycheck, right? So you're taking money out of the business as profit. You're not getting a paycheck that has all the withholdings taken out of it. But the government still wants their money.
Right.
So when you're getting a W-2 paycheck, you as the employee are paying 7.5% for Medicare and Social Security, and the company pays 7.5%. Well, as a entrepreneur, single member LLC, you're responsible for all of that, all
100%.
15%.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big number if your business is successful.
I spoke over you and said 100%, but I meant
it's 100% of the 15%.
15%.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So if you're not planning for that self-employment tax, is what it's called, it can be a unwelcome surprise come tax filing time. Because not only are you paying federal income tax and state income tax on the earnings of your business, you're also paying self-employment tax on those same earnings.
Right. So that was kind of the conversation that we were having, right? Years ago, I launched a business and I didn't pull the estimated tax out, and I did not pay it quarterly. So not only did I not pay it quarterly, I didn't take it out at all. And when I filed taxes
Yeah, it's a real number.
Yeah.
It's a real number. So what Steph's talking about, you can, once you get established as a entrepreneur, as an LLC, taxed as a pass-through entity, so as a partnership or a single member LLC, all of that income that you're making comes from the business and goes right into your personal taxes. Because of that, you have to pay not only income tax, but the self-employment tax. You can not avoid the tax, but you can pay that tax over time if you pay estimated tax payments. Your CPA should tell you, hey, we think your business is going to generate $100,000 in profit. That's going to amount to X dollars in federal income tax, Y dollars in state income tax, and Z dollars in self-employment tax. You need to start paying that over time. Well, the biggest shock for most entrepreneurs is, hey, I've been getting a refund from the federal government every year, and my family goes on vacation from that money, or we buy a car, we do whatever, and you become an entrepreneur and immediately start paying.
Right. Well, okay, so here's some misconceptions. First of all, you can't write off everything.
That's true.
You can't, right?
That's true.
And
that's true.
If you are not educated in what you can and can't write off, or you cannot donate tons of money, there's caps on all of that stuff. So if you're not educated in that, you really need to work with a CPA firm that can absolutely educate you in that area.
Now, prior to starting my business, I was a CFO for 25 years. I know accounting.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing I did when I started my business was hire a CPA. One, because I don't want the IRS going, hey, this guy's cooking his own books,
right?
Which I would never do generally, but I don't want that to be even a consideration. But also because I don't know the latest and greatest tax law. Don't fool yourself into thinking that it's going to be, as you're running a business, the taxation of your business income is not treated the same way as the taxation of your personal income. If you're a W-2 employee and you're used to getting a refund at the end of the year, you need to talk to a CPA before you get jumping off on your business. One of the benefits of starting your own business is that you don't see those withholdings coming out of your paycheck every month. One of the downsides is you don't see those withholdings coming out of your paycheck every month, and you have to pay them all.
So Scott, there was a person that reached out to me, and they were being paid under the table, which means they were getting cash, and so it's an integrity issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, they didn't plan on claiming that income, but they got a 1099. Well, you have to claim the income.
Yes.
Well, you should just claim it anyway.
We said in the first episode of this series, if you don't manage your money's going to manage you.
Absolutely.
It is not acceptable to stay ignorant about how to manage your finances. It's okay to feel like you don't know today. But if you recognize you don't know and you don't do anything to correct that, that's on you.
Shame on you.
And I can assure you the IRS does not care that you have ignorance. So make sure you're talking to a qualified CPA that doesn't have a kiosk at the mall, that you're making sure you're talking to somebody who knows what they're doing. Because again, if we're talking about ways to facilitate savings, again, I have to go back and say, if you are predicating your annual savings based on your tax refund, one, the tax laws have changed.
And they could change every...
Yeah, they could change all the time.
Right.
The W-2 is now different. When you fill it out, if you're in the same job and you've been there forever, you're not even going to notice.
Your grandfathered in. Mm-hmm.
If you change jobs, the W-2 is different. That it now includes every possible income stream. The IRS, however you feel about them, did that so that people would end the year not owing and not getting a check back,
right,
so that it was even. The whole job of collecting income tax is so that you're paying tax on the income you're getting on a monthly basis. It is not so that you can save, claim 99 dependents, get to the end of the year, and then get a big check. That should never be your savings idea. because not only are you...
Well, you're setting yourself up for failure.
You're setting up yourself for failure, but you're also wasting all that compounded interest. This is going to... No, okay. We're going to do a little math lesson. I know she's giving me this look like, yeah, no, we're not doing that. I don't want to do that.
We're going to let Scott do that.
If you think about $1 today, it's called compounding interest. If you invest $1 today, even at 2% interest, it's going to be worth more than $1 invested 6 months from now. So if you're waiting to the end of the year to get your tax refund, you could have had that money in your pocket day one.
Mm-hmm.
Don't withhold 99 dependents. That's one, an integrity problem.
Right.
But two, that's just not smart comes from managing your money. Yeah. If you have 99 dependents, good on you.
Right.
Or bad on you.
We need to have a different conversation.
Yeah, that's definitely a different conversation. But it's important to manage your money, not let your money manage you.
Right. That's good.
And I think the finding savings in things that you don't ordinarily think of as vehicles for savings is important. We talk about, hey, and I think we talked about this the last episode, we've got each one of us individually and our kids as well have high yield savings accounts with American Express. They're paying 3.7% interest right now.
2 years ago, they were almost paying 5%,
yeah,
which is unheard of.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just smart. Right. If I'm going to a regular bank and I'm getting 0.1% interest, or I'm going to this bank and I'm getting 3.7%.
Win-win.
Why would I not do that?
Mm-hmm.
But I think when you are pinching every penny as a business or as an individual, you go, okay, well, I only have $1 to put in there, so it doesn't really make a difference. How do you find savings in unusual places? We talked about paying down your credit card debt. If you're paying 23% interest on a credit card balance and you are not paying that down, instead of putting money, and you're putting money in a savings account, even at the high end, you're getting 5% interest,
but you're
paying 23.5 over here. Pay off your credit card debt. You're making 23% on your money. Those are simple things where you can utilize something you're already doing and make money in areas that you wouldn't normally think about.
Right. Well, just paying quarterly.
Yes. Yeah. Going back to the tax thing, paying your estimated tax payments allows you to not have a huge whack of cash that you have to come up with the end of the year.
Well, and there's penalties for paying it after December 31st.
If you don't make your estimated tax payments.
It's January 10th, actually, I think.
Especially if you have
15th.
Been making
Kristen said January 15th.
January 15th, yes. It's usually the 15th of the following month after the end of the quarter.
Right.
So if you've been making estimated tax payments and you stop, and then you start again, they're going to be like, yo.
What happened?
All that money you should have given us back in April? Yeah, we're going to take penalties and interest on that.
Someone asked me about that the other day. They were like, well, I didn't make any money between this and this. And I said, well, first of all, I don't know if I believe you, but let's just say that's actual factual. I said, I mean, that's easy to prove. All you have to do is say, open up my books. Well, I don't really keep records. And I'm like, well, you got a problem.
Yeah. I had somebody say to me, well, I put all the money back into the business, so I didn't make any money. And I said, well, hold on. In order for you to invest the money back in your business, you had to have money to put there.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you didn't put it in your pocket doesn't mean it's not income.
So that goes back to, you have to partner with a CPA.
Yes, please, 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 please. CPAs are there for a reason. They know what they're talking about for the most part. If you're a certified public accountant, you have to pass an exam. You have to have continuing education. You know what you're talking about. If you're not taking advantage of channel partners that can help you amplify and multiply, shame on you.
Well, and here's the thing. The end result is, once you are financially mature in your personal accounts, and, I'm big to say, do not mix your business money
is bad.
In with your personal money. But let's just say you're mature in your personal finances, then there should be an expectation or a level of maturity in your business finances. Well, you're not zeroing out every year. You have to be putting money back somewhere. You have to be doing something other than. So, when you say, well, I'm going to write off half of my house and I'm going to write off, well, that's just not true. Where's your integrity in that?
Yeah. I mean, if you evade taxes, tax evasion is a penalty ridden.
Right.
It's
You will go to
against
jail.
the law.
Right.
Tax avoidance for proper planning is what CPAs do.
Right.
You can avoid paying taxes by properly tax planning. You start evading taxes by writing off stuff that's not real or not claiming. I had a guy ask me to help him sell his business. And he said, well, I have some cash business that I don't report. I said, that's going to be a problem. However, how much is it? Oh, it's small. Okay. He meets me to give me his financials. And without any hesitation, he takes out a single notebook paper with 5 years worth of income numbers written in pencil.
It's just, that's not
And I said, well,
business.
I need you to give me tax returns to support this. So on this piece of paper, it said his business was booming. He said, yep, this is all the money I've collected. Started out at $20,000, went up to like $300,000. He then gives me his tax return and it says it started at $20,000, went up to $150,000 the next year, and then has continuously dropped off. So the last year where he actually billed $300,000, he gave the IRS a tax return that said he billed $50,000.
Not okay.
So I met him back in the same situation, same place. And I was like, here you go. Here's the money you paid me to help you. I said, you need to get right on your taxes. Right. You are going to go to jail. You're going to go to jail.
You need an IRS
tax attorney to solve that problem for you because you're breaking the law.
Talk to people that maybe they haven't filed in a year or 2 years or 3 years. Just as a consulting team, we can unwind that stuff for you.
No, you have to have a professional do that. And there are professionals.
And you're going to have to pay for it.
Circumstances that happen.
Right.
Catastrophic things happen all the time, and you can work with a qualified CPA that can help you mitigate some of the penalties the IRS is going to charge you. Yeah, we kind of got sideways with this IRS thing. So,
yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
But
that was my fault.
I will say it's important to make sure you have a qualified CPA. Let's get back to the savings thing. So we talked about high yield savings accounts. We talked about finding savings in areas that you wouldn't normally find, paying off your debt. If you have high interest debt, pay that off first. It's automatically putting money in your pocket. Even though you go, well, I don't see any interest coming into my hands. I don't see any interest in my bank account. If I'm paying off a loan at 8 or 9% or versus investing in an account that's making 4%, I'm doubling my money. Do that first. Think about opportunities to multiply your income in a variety of different investments. We are not investment professionals. There are people that are far smarter than us that will help you from a stock investing or mutual funds or cryptocurrency, the Mario coins that people are investing in now.
Now, we know those people. So if you don't have a connection,
if you don't have somebody,
we can connect you.
Again, ignorance is only forgivable one time.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds harsh, but if you're ignorant about a situation or a process and you choose to stay there, that's on you. Your money will manage you and you will have a problem.
Investing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing that people say, but where do you start?
Well, you start with your CPA so you can find out how much disposable income you have in order to invest. It's amazing to me the number of people that I'll say, hey, I'm investing in this vehicle and I'm, this cryptocurrency thing, you can make a lot of money really quick. So I'm taking every dollar I have and stuffing it there. And I said, well, aren't your kids getting ready to go to college? Yeah, I took everything out of their college fund and I'm putting it in this because I can make a quick buck.
My initial knee-jerk reaction is you could win a lot of money. You could get a lot of money from that. But you could also
get a lot of money from playing the lottery.
I started to say you can also spend all of that money on scratch-offs and result in the same thing of nothing.
And it's about the same risk. So again, 99% of people that are listening to us are not investment professionals.
Right.
And that is, I'm not an investment professional. You're not an investment professional. We have people that advise us how to do that. You are not going to go into a courtroom unless you hire an attorney, and you hire an attorney because they know the law.
Right.
I'm not going to give somebody my hard-earned money unless I have somebody telling me how I should spend it. I and all our listeners work way too hard to get the money in their pocket to then turn around and throw it away on something because they're uneducated and they think they can beat the market by doing something that they saw on TV somewhere.
And there's also a mindset, right? Like a mindset of, first of all, do I trust that I'm going to do this? So, different
Do you trust that you're going to do what?
I'm going to invest, or I'm going to
prioritizing, investing. Mm-hmm.
But with the hair turning gray on my head, I wish I had invested differently when I was much younger. And again, if you don't know what you don't know, it was my responsibility to go find out, right? So it wasn't until, I don't know, past my 20s that I understood what investing looked like.
Your priorities are different, right? I have a young person that I'm working with who had her first investment account when she was 10.
Wow. Good for her. Good for her parents.
And I was like, yeah, okay. Now she's got a portfolio and she's educating me, and she's 20. Mm-hmm. We, very much like you, we had kids young, and we were like, we're just happy that they have something to eat.
Get a house, get a car, get some food, put some clothes on them.
In order to start the habit of maximizing some kind of savings, take advantage of company-sponsored plans. If you're a W-2 employee and you work for a company that has a 401k, put money into it. Put money into
Even
it, whether they don't match or not.
Right.
Put money into it and have it auto-drafted. The first time it comes out, it's going to be painful. The very next time, you're not even thinking about it. It's like paying insurance premiums.
For 1 second. So, and I tell young adults this all the time. So, first of all, put 1% in. Every time you get a raise, add to the 401k before the first check
That's
comes.
Such a good way to talk about it. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, you were doing okay before you got the raise.
Right.
If you were living hand to mouth and, not making your payments, different story.
Right.
But if you're not in those scenarios and all of a sudden you got a merit increase, instead of going, woohoo, I'm going on vacation, take a portion of that and put it aside. Mm-hmm. One of the things I found out when I was younger, and I think I may have mentioned this in one of the previous episodes, I got fired from a job because I failed to commit a financial crime.
Right.
And we went 6 months without any money at all coming into the household. What I found was we could live on a lot less than what I thought. So when I started the business, I was like, okay, even though my W-2 income was at one level, I knew that our lifestyle and our family only needed 30% less. So that was kind of my baseline target. If we can get to here, we'll be good. Everything over that, we can, play off some stuff, or we can pay for some college, or whatever the case may be.
Scott, I was working with a young entrepreneur. I was coaching them, and they wanted 2 topics. One, they needed to put more money into their company while they worked their W-2, but they were struggling financially. So, we've got our cute little budget sheet that we run through with people. And
it's cute, but it works really well too.
It is spectacular.
It actually does work really well.
They realized that they were spending most of their money on makeup and food. And I said, okay, food like grocery? No.
Eating out.
Mm-hmm. Eating out 4 times a week. And I said, okay, so there is some financial responsibility of creating a workable budget. And then you find out I can actually live for much less. So not that I'm sponsoring or not sponsoring, but one of Dave Ramsey's taglines is live like no one else so you can live like no one else. And that simply just means when you're young, scale back on how much money you blow, invest it and save it so that as you get older, you have a nest egg. Same thing with your businesses. When you land that first contract, don't go buy the best equipment and a new car. Save it, invest it.
That's why you have to have a plan. That's why you have to have a plan. And if you have to know where you're headed, both personally and professionally.
Right.
And one of the things we taught our kids was when you're thinking about buying that new pair of sneakers, you know, you got your first gig and you were pumped, like you could afford the sneakers your parents weren't buying for you. I remember having this conversation with our daughter. I said, how many hours would you have to work in order to pay for those shoes? Not how many dollars are those shoes, how many hours? And when you start thinking about the time invested at your current rate of pay to pay for whatever you think you need, you all of a sudden realize you probably don't need, you want.
Right, Scott, we have that same practice, same statement. How many hours did you have to work? So one of my children who, when he watches this, will be
recognize you're talking about him.
Yeah. You know, we much like in my household, we look at our budget every Friday, pretty strict about it. But we make them look at theirs. Something you need to get into the habit of doing. Know what is in your account, how much is going out. So there was an exuberant amount of money spent at a coffee location. And we were like, wait, how many hours did you have to work? And they were like, for the month, a whole week. And we were like, what?
Wow. If you're exchanging a week's worth of hard labor for coffee,
you got a problem.
It better be really good coffee.
Like you could have purchased a coffee machine.
Yes.
For less than what you're spending.
Yes.
Cut it out.
Yes.
But someone had to teach my child.
Yeah.
Someone had to teach me.
Yeah, of course. And we often had to learn by doing it the wrong way.
Right.
And we collectively feel a responsibility to say, okay, manage your money so your money doesn't manage you. Because if you use money as a tool for experiences and you use money as a tool to leave the world a better place than it was before, you're going to be much more fulfilled and much more at peace with your money situation than you would be if you were chasing after every dollar to get the next thing to keep up with the Joneses. You know, I say this to students who ask me about job potentials. If you chase after impact and purpose, the money will always find you.
Absolutely.
It's harder, but the money will find you. If you chase after the money, you may miss out on leaving a lasting impact or living a life of purpose on purpose because you're too busy chasing after the next dollar. So manage your money. Don't let your money manage you. Our financial decisions today leaves a lasting impact on the financial decisions and the financial decision-making process for those after us.
So not even financially, but just if you have children, they watch how you manage your money. So good spending habits, bad spending habits, if you leave them money, if you don't leave them money, all of that is wrapped into your decisions today.
Well, and think about Bill Gates, right? Bill Gates is like I'm going to give away 95% of my money. My kids are going to get 5%. Now you're talking about one of the richest guys in the world. His whole process was, look, we taught them how to manage money. We taught them how to work hard. They're going to make their own money. Money is a tool to help create impact. So just passing generational wealth down for no other benefit other than, oh yeah, Junior doesn't have to work is a waste.
It's irresponsible.
It is irresponsible. That's a better way to say it. That's a better way to say it. It is irresponsible.
Right.
Creating a legacy of impact, not only from a financial gifting standpoint, but also from a financial education standpoint is what we're called to do.
Right.
Because you make money to have an impact, not make money to buy the airplane or, hey, I am all for if you have the ability to do some amazing fun things, do the amazing fun things.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
I'm
you
not
have
mad
to live
at Bill Gates that he bought a plane.
I don't think you need to live like a monk.
Right.
And, shun away all financial benefits of making money because you're working hard for that money. But if your sole purpose is to make more money just to make more money, if enough is never enough, you have to check your motivation, because one, you're probably not listening to us anyway, because if we're talking about living purposefully, you're probably chasing after some money and not paying attention to what we're saying anyway. But if you're really trying to be part of the Changemakers Collective, changing the world, leaving a positive impact, you have to manage your money so it doesn't manage you.
So we are going to do a follow-up part 3.
Yep. We're going to talk about that budget that nobody likes to talk about.
And we'll probably
talk about 20 other things that are probably unrelated.
Have a great day.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Changemakers Collective. If you've enjoyed this episode, please help us grow our community by leaving us a review on Apple Podcasts or rating us on Spotify.
You can also find our podcast on YouTube, so you can come and leave us a comment over there as well. If you want support growing your business and scaling your vision, visit us at silverbackventures.org or connect with us on LinkedIn.
Thanks again, and we'll see you on our next episode.